Cool. All right. Hi, guys. So welcome. Make sure you have 2 blocks, please, and place them at the top of your mat. We're actually going to start seated on the block with your heels on the outer edges of your hips. So this is a virasana variation. If you're really open, though, I recommend trying to sit down in between your heels, and that way you'll actually be able to go a little bit deeper with me in a second. So we're going to start in virasana. And as you're all ready, find yourself seated. Turn your palms face down onto the tops of your thighs. And give yourself a deep breath in through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. Again, big breath in. Exhale out the mouth. And then smooth breath in and out through your nose. So if by chance this posture feels really tight in the knees for you, or it's uncomfortable in a way that is unbearable, I highly recommend taking a block and placing it underneath your booty and sitting on that instead. But if you're with me, maybe bring your sit bones down toward the mat and draw your outer ankles in toward the sides of your hips. And for today's class, for those of you who are on my newsletter, really focusing a lot on trusting the heart, opening heart space, learning to listen to the heart space. And I did allude to it, but I think it's such a silly but also really relevant quote for this week's class in Shrek, the movie Shrek, when he talks about how ogres have layers. It's one of my favorite analogies of all time in the yoga practice, thinking about how we are covered by so many layers based off of our lived experiences. And this practice is really magical because we're able to give ourselves these moments of quiet, of peace, to really understand what those layers are. And so as you find yourself seated, without judgment, can you simply breathe in and out through the nose? And then slowly begin to bring your hands behind you. If you're sitting on a block, you may not be able to go too far, but those of you who are off a block, bring the hands behind you and see if you can actually lift the low belly, kind of tucking your tailbone, drawing your tailbone down toward the knees, toward the front edge of the mat. And then slowly begin to walk yourself back a little bit more, perhaps if your body allows it, maybe forearms on the mat. I recommend staying here for a moment. Notice that you have the natural curvatures of your low back. Can you start to, again, lengthen the tailbone down toward the front of your mat, toward your kneecaps, and feel the entire front side of your thighs, your quads really wake up. Breathe into that sensation. Breathe into that space. Inhale. And exhale. And again, maybe walk yourself back a little bit deeper. I'm going to stay here today, but if you have more you want to get into, feel free, but really focus on dropping the tailbone down toward the knees, feeling the front line of the body open up. And then slowly walk yourself up, one elbow at a time. Bring yourself all the way up into a tabletop. So just windshield wipe your legs for a second. Just notice how sensitive the knees might feel that early in class. Be gentle. Spread the fingertips wide, grip the earth with your palms. And then drop the belly, inhale, cow facing pose. Close the eyes, let the gaze turn inward, and exhale, cat pose. Drop the head down, gaze in between the thighs. Press down into the palms, spin inner thighs back, and then inhale, belly drops, heart scoops. Cow facing. Exhale, cat pose, lift and curl. A few more times like that on your own. Add or subtract what you might need. Maybe that's a few barrel rolls or tapping the tops of your feet out. And then slowly bring yourself back to that neutral position. Walk the hands forward about 6 inches, tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. So as you arrive here in your downward facing dog, observe where your body may feel a little tight. Perhaps bend one knee, straighten out one leg. Allow the heel to drop down to the earth and switch it out. It's almost as if you're walking. And then we'll slowly arrive into this relative place of stillness together, grounding down through the L's of the palms. Feel the forearms lift up and away from the mat as the triceps spin down. Inner thighs, pull your sit bones up and back. Feel the entire back line of your legs light up as you do that. Inhale. And exhale. Again, big breath in. And exhale. Rise up high onto the tiptoes. Inhale, ripple forward into plank pose, shoulders over wrists. We'll be here for a few breaths. So if this feels intense for your wrists at this time, maybe drop down onto your knees, or if you're just not feeling it, all good, drop down onto the knees. But wherever you are, notice if you can really press the mat away so you're filling the space in between the shoulder blades. Allow the tailbone to again drop down toward the heels, feeling the hip points lift. And like you're a long piece of taffy, drag the heels back as the crown of the head pulls you forward. Big breath in. And then downward facing dog, lift the hips. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Again, breath to movement, plank pose, inhale. Just starting to warm up the shoulders a little bit, downward facing dog as you exhale. Last one, inhale, ripple forward like a wave. And exhale, your hips pull you back, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank pose, shoulders over wrists. Stabilize here for a moment, and then exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. As you arrive on your belly, place your forehead down onto the mat. I'm not able to do that right now because it's silly Britney Spears mic, but place the hands onto your low back, like you're coming into, or you're sliding your hands into imaginary back pockets. As you do so, can you press your pelvis down? Really, again, lengthening the tailbone down toward the heels. Press the pelvis down into the mat, lift the shoulder heads, keep the toes grounded. It's a modified Shalabhasana. Crown of the head pulls you forward. Can you root down through the pinky toe side edge of your feet? One more breath. And then exhale, release everything down. Left ear to the mat, just wiggle it out for a second. Big breath in. And then chin back to center on your exhale. Interlace fingers behind your back, bound Shalabhasana. Drive the knuckles back, inhale, lift the chest. Keep the toes grounded just for a moment. Slight tuck of the chin. So the back of the head pulls you up toward the sky as the crown of the head drags you forward. And then maybe, just maybe, hover your toes off the mat, finding the full expression here. Big breath in. And exhale, release the palms. Remember which finger's on top, and then just bring yourself into a cobra pose. Slide your palms next to your low ribs. Here in this cobra, drag the elbows back. Notice as you do that, you're able to pull the chest forward and then glide up, cobra pose. Inhale. Exhale, tap forehead down. Last one, upward facing dog or baby cobra, yogi's choice. Press down into the palms, 4 points of contact. And again, notice here, if you're dumping into your low back, can you engage belly? Take one more breath. And downward facing dog, lift the hips. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Coming back to that quiet, that river of breath flowing in and out through your nose. Bend your knees, gaze forward, and then just tiptoe all the way to the top of your mat for Uttanasana, ragdoll pose, grab for opposite elbows. Let your head hang heavy. And I like to sway side to side gently. It just feels really nice in the body. But if you'd like to stay still for a moment, that works too. We'll all come back to that relative place of stillness in center. So as you come into this Uttanasana, can you lift the inner and outer arches of your feet? And then release the palms down. Interlace your fingers behind your back the opposite way that you didn't do when you're on your belly. Halfway lift, inhale. Drive knuckles back, lower belly pulls up and in, and then bound forward fold. Let the head drop. So observe here, if you're guiding with your palms, can you come back to center and drag the elbows forward rather than the palms guiding you? You'll really get into the shoulders a little bit deeper, focusing on pulling the triceps down, the elbows down. Big breath. And release hands down to the mat. Halfway lift, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Hands onto the hips, low belly lifts, rise all the way up to standing. Bring the arms down by your sides for mountain pose and toe heel your feet together. Big toes to touch, sliver of space between the heels. Close the eyes and slowly bring your hands into heart center, Samasthitihi. Notice the heart lift up into the fingertips as the finger and the thumb drop down back into the heart space. A slight tuck of the chin, connecting back in with center. Big breath in together as a community. Open mouth, exhale. Again, inhale, biggest breath yet of your day. Take up space. Let it go out your mouth. Release arms by your side, seal the lips. Inhale through the nose, Ujjayi Pranayama. Exhale through the nose. Reaching arms up overhead, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, palms kiss up overhead. Get along through the side body, and then exhale, fold forward. Hands through heart center, place the hands down onto the mat as you straighten out the legs. Halfway lift, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step back, step with your left foot, right foot's in front, low lunge. So you're gonna keep the hands on the mat for a moment. If the ground feels far away, place your hands on blocks. Highly recommend for those with tight hamstrings based off where we're going. And then lift the chest, drop the hips. So in this first pose, you want to let it feel nice in the front line of your left hip. Big breath in, keep your back toes tucked under. Exhale, long pyramid pose. Straighten out your front leg. Drag your right hip back. Maybe even flex your front foot. Allow the crown of the head to pull forward toward the front of the mat. We're going to move through that breath to movement very dynamically. Inhale, drop the back knee, lift the heart. Exhale, long pyramid pose. Just two more like that. Inhale, find a little bit of flow. Exhale, pyramid. Last one, inhale. Exhale, long pyramid pose. Rebend your front knee, inhale, drop your back knee down this time. You can untuck the toes so the top of the foot is grounded. Climb yourself up. So your right hand is on your right thigh. Place your left hand on your hip and actively lift the hip point up. Grounding down into the back shin, you can stay here or maybe begin to bend your back leg. Your foot goes up and in toward the booty. Stay there or maybe grab for the heel. Lifting the hip point up. Notice how that's a very different stretch than dropping the hips and let everything sag. So for today, really pull in, isolating the front of the quad. Big breath. And release the foot. Maybe shake out that Charlie horse. I definitely just got one. Tuck back toes under. Inhale, three-legged down dog kick. Drive the right heel back. Let the toes tuck under or drive down toward the mat. And then bend the knee, stack the hips, open it up, let it feel nice. Full breath in and full breath out. Inhale, three-legged down dog kick, dial down the toes, square the hips. And then from here, just stamp your right heel up to the sky like you're doing a hamstring curl with your right foot. And then shift forward into plank. Keep that foot stamping up to the sky. Knees come in line with one another. So it's as if you were about to do like another quad stretch here. Can you keep the knees together just for one more beat? And then knee to nose, exhale. Press the ground away a lot. Can you arch the back just like a cat? Let the nose touch the knee, big breath in. And then exhale, bring your right knee onto the mat. Pivot your back foot flat, preparing for modified Vashisthasana. Ground down into your right palm, lift left arm high. So as you're here, you're going to only be here for a moment. If you like to stay here with your back foot grounded, that's fine. Otherwise, lift the back foot off of the mat. Spread your fingers wide. And again, layers. You can bend the left foot, reach back and grab with the foot with your left hand. And instead of arching and dumping into your back, can you kick your shin toward the back of the mat? Keep lifting the left hip point up toward your face. Notice how that stretches a little bit differently than getting into the back body. I promise we'll get there. Big breath in. And release the foot. Modified Vashisthasana, arm to the side. Inhale. Exhale, release left palm down. Tuck the right toes under, left leg high, three-legged down dog kick. Just step through low lunge. You're only here for a moment. Gaze forward, inhale. Exhale, step forward, top of the mat. Uttanasana. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, we bow and fold. Rise up, inhale. Palms kiss. Keep the height as you exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, we bow and we fold, Uttanasana. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, step right foot back, low lunge. Same thing, maybe grab your blocks if you're a little bit tighter the hamstrings, drop your back knee down. Lift the chest, keep back toes tucked under. And exhale, long pyramid pose. Straighten out the front leg, maybe draw toes back toward your face. Notice here if you can pull the left hip back. Relax any tension around the kneecap. Big breath. And then exhale, rebend front knee, drop the back knee down, lift the heart, inhale. Exhale, straighten front leg. Inhale, drop back knee, heart lifts. Exhale, long pyramid pose. Last one, guys, inhale. This dynamic movement's really helpful to warm into the joints. Exhale, straighten front leg. Bend front knee, inhale, drop the back knee. And again, you're gonna climb yourself up, untuck the back toes so the shin is flat. Ground into the shin so you're lifting the right hip point up. And you can stay here or maybe begin to bend the back knee, grab for the foot on the outer edge of the heel and pull the foot in close toward the booty. If this feels like a lot too, and you're like, oh my gosh, my knee is in pain, of course you can shift forward, place your hand on a block or place a blanket underneath your knee. But it's really juicy, guys, if you keep the hip point lifted. And my entire quad is screaming in a good way. Big breath. And exhale, release it down. Tuck toes under, plant the palms, three-legged down dog kick. Inhale. Bend the knees, stack the hips, open it up. Just let it feel nice. Continue to drive both palms into the mat, squaring shoulders. Lift the inner left knee up to the sky. And then exhale, three-legged down dog kick. Dial down the left toes. Kick the left heel up to the sky, but the hips are neutral. And then shift forward into that plank pose with your heel up to the sky. So similar position like we were doing earlier in class with the knees almost touching. Lengthening tailbone down toward the glute. Take a big breath in. Bring left knee to the nose. Hunching it up and in. Press the mat away. Find breath, find ease. Last inhale. And exhale, bring left knee down. Pivot the left foot out a little bit so you can ground down into left palm, reach right arm high. Modified Vashisthasana. So again, a couple of layers. If you're not feeling the other layers, you can stay here. Otherwise, pick up your back foot in karate, kick the back wall. So the toes are facing directly toward the right side of your mat. Stay like this or bend the top leg, reach around and grab for the outer edge of the foot. Kick back so the shin is pressing toward the back of the mat. Can you engage your low belly and find the same action of lifting hip points? Big breath in. And release it out. Exhale, right arm high, leg long. Exhale, right palm down, square out the hips, tuck the left toes under, three-legged down dog kick, inhale. Step through low lunge, right foot next to right thumb tip, just gaze forward, inhale. Step forward, top of the mat, exhale. Halfway, inhale. We bow and fold. Rise up, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, palms to the sky. Exhale, hands to the heart, Samastitihi. Moving breath to movement now, guys. Surya Namaskar A, just the traditional variation, arms high, inhale. Exhale, we bow and we fold. Halfway lift, find your flow. Exhale, plant the palms, step, float, hop back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, downward facing, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Couple rounds of breath. Start to find that rhythm that feels good for you. And on your next inhale, bend the knees, set the gaze, step, float, hop, top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, bow and fold. Rise up, inhale. Hands pull the heart center, feel the crown lift as you do so. You have 2 more rounds of Surya Namaskar A on your own, guys. Maybe turn up the music and take flight. I'll do them here with you. After that second round, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Full breath in. Shift forward into plank. Bring your right palm about 3 inches in front of your shoulder. Pivot onto the outer edge of your right foot. Lift left arm high. Vashisthasana. So here in this pose, we worked on it a little bit last week, but can you bring your big toes together to touch? There's a little space between the heels. It also actively helps to pull the left hip forward. Shoulders stacked directly over one another. Stay like this, or maybe reach top arm overhead. Big breath. And exhale, release left palm down. Coming back to center, hold plank. And then rock the left palm forward slightly, roll onto the outer edge of the left foot, reach the right arm high. Vashisthasana on the other side. And again, notice here the tendency to drop the right hip back. Can you pull right hip forward? Bring your head in line with the shoulders. So not like that keyboard texting head with the chin jutting forward. And then top arm can reach up and overhead. Find side body lengthening, inhale. Back to plank, exhale. Take a full breath in. Listen here, exhale, lower down halfway, pause. Chaturanga push-up. Option to come down on your knees. You're here for 3. Draw elbows back for 2. Press up to plank 1, downward facing dog. Nice work, guys. Big inhale. And exhale. Bend the knees, set the gaze. Step, float, hop, top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. We bow and we fold with the exhale. Big toes to touch. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Sink low, reach the arms high. So as you come into chair, can you sink the weight back into the heels so that you can gaze down and see all 10 toes sticking out in front of your kneecaps? Sitting bones drive down and back to where the back wall meets the floor, and reach the fingertips up to where the front wall meets the ceiling. As you do that, notice if the rib cage is bouncing out. Can you soften front ribs down? Breathe into your back body, inhale. And exhale, stand all the way up, hands come to heart center. Back to chair. Inhale, Utkatasana. Bring your hands into heart center. Shift your weight into your right foot. Begin to bring your left heel toward your glute. Draw your belly down toward the thigh. So you're almost like a little folded in half flamingo. Keeping the knee bent, begin to extend the left leg straight for a warrior 3 variation. Stabilize around the right hip by bending into the knee and drawing your right hip sitting bone back toward the back edge of the mat. Take one more breath. Step it back. Crescent lunge. Inhale, arms reach the sky. Settle in for a moment here. We're going to move dynamically again. So straighten your front leg, cactus out your arms. Notice here again, if you're dumping into your low back, can you lift the hip points up? And you'll feel a nice stretch along the front of the left thigh. Big breath in. And exhale, rebend the front knee, arms reach the sky. Keeping the lift of the hip point, inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, rebend, arms to the sky. Last one, inhale. Exhale, arms to the sky. Inhale, straighten front leg, cactus the arms. Keep the arms cactused. Just bend into your front lunge again. Feeling the left and the right hip points lift evenly, shift forward 6 inches, and then twist your body to the right. You're still in that cactus shape. Can you twist more using the natural twist in your body, less about the levers that you're going to be using in just a moment? Bring the hands to heart center, hover the left elbow on top, in front, or behind the knee. I know we really want to put it down. One more breath. And release the elbow down on the outside edge of that knee. Revolve crescent. Notice if you're dipping still in the back hip, can you activate through the back leg? Lengthen the lower ribs forward as you revolve the chest up. If you have other fancy schmancy things you're craving, like opening your arms like wings, taking a bind, you have 3 breaths to play. Dropping down on your back knee is also a very good variation. Last breath. And then release hands onto the inside edge of your foot. Toe heel your right foot to the edge of the mat. Drop your back knee down if it's not there. Bring your hand on a block. Again, if you're a little bit tighter, highly recommend the block. Bend your back knee again. Reach back, take a quad stretch. As you take the quad stretch, can you bend the elbow in toward the body? Drawing the shoulders in toward the heart. Lift the chest and gaze over the right shoulder. And again, notice if you're dumping into the low back, can you lift the low belly, just like we've been doing in all of these back bends so far? Big breath. And release the foot. Come back to center, toe heel, the right foot to center, lift back knee, downward facing dog. Maybe rinse that out with a vinyasa, shift forward to plank, high to low. Meeting in downward facing dog, full breath in. Let it go, exhale. Bend the knees, set the gaze, step, float, hop, top of the mat. Halfway lift, and we bow and we fold. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Get low, reach high, and stand all the way up, hands to heart center. Come back to chair, inhale, sink low. Bring the hands to heart center again. Draw your right heel up toward your booty. So your left knee stays in that chair pose position. Can you shift forward slightly so your body becomes parallel with the mat? And begin to extend the right leg back. Dial down the toes. Feel the low belly lift. Take one more breath, get long. And step it back, high crescent lunge. Arms reach, offer it up. Keep driving a right hip forward. Stamp down into the left heel, drag it back. Same thing like we did on the other side. Straighten your front leg, cactus your arms. Can you really feel the lift of the right hip? Activate through the back leg. Keep that lift, rebend the front knee, straighten the arms to the sky. 2 more like that. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Get big. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Keep the cactus, exhale, rebend your front knee, shift forward 6 inches. Turn your chest toward the left. Keep activating through that back leg, low belly lifts, find the twist where your body is today. Bring the hands into heart center. Hover the elbow over the front knee. Use your core, guys. Take another breath. And then hook right elbow outside left knee. Sink into it. Maybe drop the back knee down. But wherever you are, find somewhere you can sustain. Something that your body can handle for multiple breaths. And the moment the breath becomes something that's shallow, it's a symbol to your body and a signal to say, pull back a little bit. Last breath. And release, hands down onto the inside of the left foot, toe heel the foot to the edge of the mat. Drop the back knee, place the right hand on the edge of the mat or onto a block and bend the back knee, reach back for the ankle and the foot. So again, for anybody who has hypermobility, challenge you here to lift the low belly, pull back slightly, and drive the shin back to open the chest. Stabilize around this little back bend that you're doing. It's easy to use other parts of the back. Compensating for areas that you naturally may have more flexibility. And then release the foot, bring the hands back down, lift the back knee, step back, definitely rinse that one out with the vinyasa. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. Full breath in and exhale. Bend the knee, set the gaze, step, float, hop, top of the mat. Halfway, inhale. Exhale, we fold. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Rise all the way up, hands come to heart center, Samastitihi. Chair pose, inhale. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Optional vinyasa, or just skip it and meet us in down dog. And then step left foot forward. Today we're going to do high crescent. Inhale, reach arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to the earth, vinyasa. Up dog, breathe in. Downward facing dog, breathe out. Left foot steps forward, rise up, inhale. High crescent. Exhale, hands to the mat, step it back, vinyasa. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Bend the knees, set the gaze, float top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. We bow and fold, exhale, chair pose, sink low, reach high. Offer it up, stand it up, hands come to heart center. Take 2 more rounds of Surya Namaskar B with a crescent variation on your own. So that's chair pose, crescent, crescent with a vinyasa in between. Take flight, guys. I'll meet you down there. And downward facing dog. Of course, you're always welcome to skip any of these sun bees. As you're done with that second round, we'll just meet in downward facing dog. Or maybe give yourself a beat in child's pose. Big breath in. Sigh it out the mouth. Again, inhale. Let it go, exhale. If you're in child's pose, slowly meet us back in down dog. Right leg high, inhale. We've been here before, so just bend the knee so the foot is stamping on the sky like you're doing a hamstring curl, and then shift forward into that plank position we did with the hamstring curl. Foot is up toward the sky. You're going to pivot onto the outer edge of the left foot and flip your dog, dropping the right foot on the outer edge of the right side of the mat, and lift the right arm high. So your left foot's more or less in the Vashisthasana type position. You're up on the tiptoes of your right foot and maybe reach the top arm overhead, lifting the hips up toward the sky. Big breath in. Listen here, exhale, reach right arm high. You're gonna pull the right knee into the chest. Inhale, step through low lunge. Spin the back foot flat, rise up, warrior two. With grace. Land here for a moment. Settle in. Stamp into the right heel. Can you drag right heel back? Press into the knife edge of the back foot and feel the rebound up the leg. So really firm the back quad. You can gaze over your middle index finger or over the side of the mat. Whatever feels comfortable for you and your neck. But try to sit here in the discomfort. Notice what comes up for you as you hold postures a little longer. It becomes this different practice. Can you sit in whatever is coming up and observe that it's just a moment and it'll pass? Bring your left hand behind your back. Reverse the warrior, inhale. Lengthen right side of the body. Equally draw the left torso side of the body. Long, big breath. Straighten your front leg like you're pulling up long stockings, and then triangle pose, Trikonasana. Bring your hand onto a block, onto the outer edge of your foot. Reach the left arm high. Option to keep the bind if you'd like that by dropping your left hand behind your back. We're gonna keep layering on with that bind. So if that's something you like, stay here. Otherwise, just find the traditional triangle pose, and that's a good place to be. But wherever you are, again, it's about sustainability and longevity of this practice. So much of what we see of this practice nowadays are these crazy contorted postures, when really the practice becomes so much more fruitful when we can find and explore more depth in these simple postures that we tend to do every single day. So find this sense of newness here. Unravel piece by piece, maybe small micro movements that no one else can see, but you can feel. Take one more breath. And then gaze down, bend into your right knee, move the block forward into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. So you're still karate kicking the back wall with the left foot. The toes should be facing directly to the side or maybe even pigeon-toed slightly down. Your feet are more or less in like a triangle pose position. You can even look back and gaze at the back foot to see if you're heel to heel aligned. If you are holding and keeping the half bind, option to hold that and just bend the top leg. It's a little bit different of a variation. You can first, option one, is to just grab the foot, taking chipasana traditionally. Kick back into the foot with your left hand around the ankle. Option two is keeping the half bind, ground into the right heel and lift the right palm and take the chipasana with the right hand. Oftentimes I have to bend the right knee a little bit to stabilize. Either option is great, but you're holding and you're breathing for just 3. Kick the shin back, hip points lift for 2. And then full expression 1, release the leg, arm to the sky, inhale, and step it back, triangle pose. You're only here for a beat. Big breath in, and exhale, bend the knee, hands to the mat, vinyasa, rinse that one out. Full breath in, and exhale. Again, big breath. Exhale. Left leg high, inhale. Stamp the heel up to the sky, so you're bending your knee. Foot is flexed. Shift forward into that plank again, knees touching to start. Drive the heel up to the sky, and then pivot on the outer edge of the right foot. Drop the foot on the outer edge of the mat for flip dog. Stabilize the shoulder, really press down into the right hand. Lift the hips, maybe bring the palm up and overhead. Big heart opener, inhale. Exhale, arm to the sky, bring the left knee to the chest. Big breath in. Step through low lunge, spin the back foot flat, rise up, windmill it up, warrior 2 with grace. For any old dancers in the room, I really love that transition. It feels so like fluidy. Ground down into the left heel. Again, scrub left heel back, stamp down and stand into the back foot. Feel the rebound up through the crown of the head and settle in. So there's a sense of the root to rise, right? There is a stability from the hips down, but there's a sense of ease from the hips up. Can you play with that juxtaposition here? Even observe in your face how maybe you're holding tension, how the breath changes as you push your body a little bit further. Take one more breath. Draw a right hand behind your back for that half bind, and then reverse your warrior, reach up and back. Lengthen out through the left side body, get long, and then start to straighten your front leg a lot. Lifting the hip points up, inhale. Triangle pose, exhale. Left hand comes onto that block on the outer portion of your left leg. Half bind, totally optional. You can stay here or reach the top arm high. But for any friends that like to hyperextend their legs, try to lift the calf away from the earth. Press down into the ball mount of your front foot and really drag the left sitting bone back. Big breath. Even for that arm that's down on the block or the earth, can you externally rotate it so that the shoulder blade goes into the back body? And then gaze down, bend into your front knee, launch forward, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. So I, again, like to bend my front knee a little bit, gives me a little bit more stability. Toes face the right side of the mat. You can keep the half bind or reach the right arm high to the sky, yogi's choice. But we're all going to take that chipasana together. So bend your right knee, reach back either with your right foot, or if you're keeping the half bind, lift the left hand off of the mat and grab the foot with the left hand. Regardless of where you are, you want to kick the shin back. Feel the left sitting bone pull back toward the back of the mat, and the hip points lift toward your navel. Last breath. You might wobble and fall. And then release it out. Find the full expression. Ardha Chandrasana, get big. And exhale, step it back, triangle pose. Whew. Full breath. And bend the knee, rinse it out, vinyasa. Take 2 rounds of breath. Coming into our peak shortly. Bend the knee, set the gaze, step, float, hop, top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, we fold. Rise all the way up, inhale, arms to the sky. Hands come to the heart center. So a couple options here, guys. Recommend for those who are maybe newer to the practice to place your blocks at the highest height at the top of the mat. We're going to play with another kind of quad heart opener type chipasana variation. So starting here with chair pose, you're going to sink your hips down and back. Hands come to heart center. Weight back in the heels. Remember the thighs here in this position. Remember that supported warrior 3 that you did with the knee bent. And then you're going to rise all the way up. Inhale, offer it up. Hands come to heart center. Bring your left hand or right hand onto your right hip. Bend and reach back, grab for your left foot, taking a quad stretch. So layer 1, you're going to stay here, lifting the left hip point. Layer 2, reach around and grab for the back foot with your right hand. You're going to bend into that right knee a little bit, shift forward into a warrior 3 position, grabbing your heel with both of your hands. If you'd rather take just normal warrior 3, place the hands on the blocks. You can do that too. Otherwise, bear with me. You're going to breathe here, kick back, kick the shin back. Lift the heel away from the glute. Can you find warrior 3 in the torso? Open the chest. And then slowly release the foot. Find the full expression of warrior 3. Arms reach forward. Leg extends back. Om 3. Om 2. Om 1. Release the hands. Left foot down to the mat. Whew. Shake it out. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Grab your big toes with your peace sign fingers. Let the head drop, elbows pull out toward the edge of the mat. One of my teachers did that recently in class, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is a booty burster. complete right side of the leg is lit up. So good. Halfway lift, inhale, hands under the hips, rise all the way up. Arms to the side. We're gonna try that on the other side. Again, you have layers. If you just wanna do chair pose, regular warrior 3, that's a good place to be too. Just stabilize the left hip by bending into that right knee or left knee on the side. Chair pose, hands to heart center, just to remember what the leg's gonna be doing. Pull sitting bones back, then offer it up. Inhale, stand all the way up. Hands come to heart center. Bend your right knee, left hand on hip, reach back and grab for the outer ankle of your right foot. You can stay here, drawing the knees toward one another, lifting the right hip point up. Or layer 2 is to grab for your back ankle with your left hand, bend a little bit into that left knee, shift forward into warrior 3. Kick the shin up to the sky and then toward the back of the mat. Can you squeeze shoulder blades together as the front ribs soften down? Crown of the head pulls you forward. And then slowly release the leg, find the full expression. Warrior 3, arms come to heart center on blocks or reaching forward. Om 3, get long for 2. And let it go. 1, hands to the mat, right foot down. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, step it back, vinyasa, or just meet us in downward facing dog. Full breath in and out. Final big energizing pose, guys, I promise. Shift forward, plank pose. Bring your right palm in front of the face, pivot on the outer edge of the right foot. Bringing all of that together, bring your left arm high. Option to stay here. Layer 2, bend your left knee. Bring your left foot toward your glute, reach down and grab for the foot. Chipasana variation in your side plank. You're here for 3 full breaths. Release it out. Left hand down, downward facing dog. Full breath in. And exhale it out. Other side, shift forward into plank. Walk the left palm forward slightly, roll into the outer edge of the left foot. Again, option just to stay in regular Vashisthasana. Even right foot can be in front if you're looking for more support. Otherwise, bend right knee, reach down and grab for the outer edge of the right foot. Kick the shin back. Lift the right hip point. Find all of those small micro movements that we did together today here. Final pose, final big pose. And release it out. Vinyasa or just downward facing dog. Hoo-wee. Full breath. And exhale. Again, inhale. And exhale. Release down onto your shins. Sit back on the heels for a moment, close the eyes. Bring your hand to your heart. Other hand to the belly. Feel that energy pulsing through you, that prana. Notice how the focus of the mind is a little sharper. Still adding on that theme here. Come up onto the knees. Moving into camel pose, release arms by the sides. Blocks can be by the heels. If camel is something you're like not into, again, blocks are your friend. Hands slide into your imaginary back pockets. Drive elbows back, lift the heart. Inhale. Exhale, trace your gaze up the sky. Place the hands onto the blocks. Or maybe grab for your heels. Wherever you are, take 2 full breaths. Feeling the low belly engage. You fall deeper into that back bend. Rising up, inhale. Sit back on your heels with your exhale. Close the eyes. Palms face down on your thighs. Again, feel that reverberation throughout the body. The energy. We're going to do that one more time here. Come up high onto your knees. Slide your hands again into the imaginary back pockets. Elbows point back. Draw weight into the pelvis. So you're really pressing the hips forward. Lift the chest, lift, 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 trace the gaze. And then reach back for your blocks or for both of your heels. If you're looking for something deeper, maybe begin to walk your hands back toward your knees and shift back further. Come on up, inhale. Sink back onto your heels, exhale. Nice work, guys. Release palms and thighs. Keep the eyes closed. Big breath. Open mouth, exhale. Slowly come on to your right side of your booty. Swing your legs around long in front of you. Flex your feet. Bring your hands into heart center. Get long through the crown of the head. You're going to take a kind of a prayer twist in the seated forward fold. So you're going to rotate your chest toward the right. Either bring your elbow to the inside of your legs or hook the elbow onto the outer edge of the thigh. Can you press into the palms? Find length through the left side body. Maybe gaze gently over your right shoulder. And then inhale back to center. Switch it out, other side. Lengthen right side body forward as the left chest revolves up. And then come back to center. Reach the arms high, inhale. Bend the knees slightly if you have tighter hamstrings, and then walk your fingertips forward with your exhale. Keep that bend in the knees, or maybe start to straighten the legs as you bow down. Starting to slow down your breath. Notice the control you have over the breath. Trust and listen to the body as it wants to fall deeper. Maybe pull away. And then slowly rise back up. Bend the knees and just roll all the way down onto your back. Place the soles of your feet flat onto the mat. Cross your right knee over your left. Reach around for the outer edges of your feet for supine Gomukhasana. Targeting the outer hips here. Flex the toes. If this feels too much, just grab the shins. There's always a variation for all of these crazy postures. Switch it out, other side. No drama, just left leg over right. Flex the feet. And again, you're either grabbing for the shins, drawing the knees into the chest, or grabbing for the edges of your feet. Flex the feet a lot and pull the ankles toward the edges of the mat, toward the edges of your hips. And let the body just surrender. Watch the body unfold layer by layer. And somehow by the end of this class, there's a little bit more clarity, a little bit of trust in that intuition. Slowly unravel the legs. Maybe take one last happy baby if your body's craving it. Otherwise, slowly make your way into final resting pose, Shavasana. Turn the palms up to the sky. Wiggle your shoulder blades underneath you and feel the heart lift and then fall back into that nest, into the nest of your heart space. And we rest here with nothing left to do. Only this option of being fully with yourself and your breath and your body. Shavasana. If you have the gift of time, perhaps just close your computer and lay here for a while longer. If not, place your hands over the front of your body. Just observe the rise and fall of your breath and the heartbeat reverberating underneath your palms. And maybe that quietness, stillness of the mind that you've cultivated for yourself today here in these past 60 minutes. Maintaining that sense of peace, of stillness, roll onto one side and press yourself up into a seated meditation position with your eyes closed. Turn your palms up on your knees. It's a symbol of offering up all the benefits of this practice to all beings everywhere. Hands come to heart center. Draw your gaze down to your fingertips. Take a big breath in. Exhale out the mouth. Thumbs draw to your third eye. Loka, samasta, sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere know peace, love, and happiness. Inhale, lift the gaze. Exhale, we bow down and in. Thank you so much, yogis, for joining me. Hope you enjoyed class.